Hello everybody, welcome to What the Flick, new show starting. We're talking about the pilot of Turn, the new Revolutionary War drama on AMC. Alonso Duralde, William Bibiani, Robert Abele. Kind of a cool concept, I think. A period, Revolutionary War show about the original spies that went amongst the Redcoats. Basically, it's how Long Island won the war.
Who knew? It was the most important place in the American Revolution.
So Jamie Bell stars as a farmer who we find out over the course of the episode his father is a loyalist and was a judge, right?
He's a judge.
Yeah, judge, yes.
Yeah. He married a woman and has a child with her, but his true love is the woman that he was in love with in his youth, but she sided with the rebels and his father wasn't having it. But she's still very much a part of his life. And as this episode begins, we find that because he is a success, because Woody is a successful smuggler, he's being recruited to become a spy for the Revolutionary Army.
I mean, successful smuggler. I mean, here's the thing. There's some things about this. I love the concept of the show. I want to get that right off the bat. I love the idea of America's first spy ring. I love the idea of setting a story in the Civil War that doesn't involve Ichabod Crane. I think that's all fantastic. Revolutionary War. In any case.
Or War of Independence.
Exactly. That'll work fine too. But there's certain things about the show that just, at least the first episode, when they're putting all the pieces in place, that strike me as a little contrived or forced. And he's not a successful smuggler. We know that he did it once. He went with a bushel of cabbages across a lake, and then there was a guy who he happened to have grown up with him who has been waiting on the other side of that lake just in case someone happened to smuggle something so that they could talk to him about then forcing them to become a spy.
Well, I think I don't know if they're waiting for that. It sounds like they planned all along. I mean, the fact that these were childhood friends, and I think in Ben Talmadge's case, in putting this ring together, he picked people that he knew well enough that he could convince them.
How did he know that Abraham was going to cross? Did he put the maggots in the cabbages? Is that what happened?
No, that may be one of those things, little bits of invention. I think probably even the having him Woodhull be in love originally with Anna Strong was probably an invention too. So
yeah, well, I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know how historical.
This is based on real people.
But the Culper spy ring were true friends from Setauket, Long Island.
Yeah.
And and the importance of so the war was that even though Washington's army was fading fast, they held on through intelligence. I mean, this is the ring that actually did. I mean, I think if this ring didn't exist, it would be we'd be living in a different world.
But it's interesting though when you try to focus on. Let's assume for a moment, because I don't know all the details, that they are very, very close to the history. In a lot of this, it's almost a little less believable that all of this really vital British intelligence would go straight to this small town in Long Island and just happen to be picked up by Jamie Bell all the time with a decoder thing that people leave right next to all their secret messages on tables.
Well, in terms of things like breaking into a house for that first thing like that, I mean, that there's probably some invention there, but I think you have to understand that the war at that time, which was, you have to understand it was not a war to everybody. For some people, it's just like a pesky rebellion. And so I think when you had people, when you had, the British living kind of everywhere and living amongst the people that were against them, they could probably talk about things openly and not assume that anybody was going to pick up on it and do anything about it. And I think that's where the show is going to get into, this idea that spycraft was really being invented here. And I think, even though spies existed, spies were literally the people who maybe crawled to a hill, looked over, counted, ran back to that was a spy. A spy wasn't somebody with a deep cover, somebody living amongst, pretending to be something they weren't. So I think this show is going to get into the origins of that as actual the spycraft that we know today.
I'm a little confused about this because history is not my strong suit. So you've got the Redcoats who are the British troops, but then you've also got Angus McFadden's bunch. Are they mercenaries?
Mercenaries. People profited, a lot of war profiteering going on back then, and I think the show is going to get into that through his character. I mean, I think he originally actually was not, I think he might have fought for Washington before.
Well, at the beginning of the episode, they say that if Washington had been willing to pay me, we'd be fighting for that.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, you're going to have characters like that. It's going to make the show has the potential to be very complex and interesting. I don't know that the pilot totally got there. I think it had to put so many things in place. Yeah. like all pilots do. That's why I'm willing to give this show like a chance. I wanted to get into a few episodes and see how they develop things. But
I'm with
there's
you.
so much, like, but as you said, there's so much you want to get into.
No, and I love the idea of, because we're kind of obsessed with the spy genre in a lot of ways as a culture, and what spying is today, you're right, is not what it would have been back then. And it's so nice to see
these people invented things.
That's
that
what's so fascinating about it for me as a genre enthusiast.
We're going to get into that stuff.
Absolutely,
apparently.
but you're right. At the moment, a pilot, you shouldn't judge a series by just its pilot, because they're working out the kinks. They're trying to get everyone into place, and some of it's just really forced. But, you're right. The whole bit with Anna.
But I think as far as putting the pieces on the table, it's like, okay, we have a love triangle, we have an unsolved murder, we have the Revolutionary War. There's like
friendships and
we have old friendships and potential betrayals, and you have a father and a son. I'm totally willing to see where all this goes.
All the pieces are on the board. I'm just not sure it's a well-formulated attack yet. For example, there's a great and potentially just like holy cow plot point at the end of this episode, where in order to diffuse suspicion, Abraham, aka Jamie Bell, has to take a very public oath of loyalty, very loud and very convincing to the British Empire, and that should be like someone should have made a big deal out of that. It's like, listen, if you guys lose, or if I get caught, or let's say, for example, the Americans win, hypothetically, he's still screwed. He took a public oath of loyalty.
That scene is there to really intensify the pressure that Woodhull was going to experience as a guy about to go undercover.
Right. I just feel like sometimes the consequences are not as well laid out for this first episode, because they're moving all the characters into place, and because of that, because we're trying to get a lot of this episode is basically just trying to get Woodhull into a position from I want to stay out of the war to kind of being forced into it to actually wanting to be involved. But some of the ways that they choose to do that are just like, well, the chick I really want to sleep with wants me to do it, and my wife kind of doesn't, so that's setting up that love triangle, and it felt kind of contrived to me, But like, once we're there, I'm hoping it's going to be.
That loyalty oath was like Donnie Brasco getting jumped in. He's in deep.
Deep cover was unusual back then. Spies were not really like this wasn't a treasured aspect of fighting wars. I mean, they were kind of like frowned upon. They weren't given medals like they are now.
Like Talmadge's superior officer is just like horrified at the thought they would pay an informant.
I like that a lot. That was fun.
Story,
like, that's so tacky.
I mean, no one knew who these people were until like the 1930s when letters were discovered. These people did not talk about what they did. I mean, it was But I mean, my problem with the pilot is the way it's shot is it has that kind of strangely at times like dour period kind of like filmmaking style where it's just. You are telling a spy story. You can kind of make things a little more exciting than they do with the filmmaking. It feels like they threw
all the money into the sets, but not how to film the sets. Because then you're on a TV schedule and you just got to shoot.
Yeah, there are times where it's really sort of bright and kind of TV flat, but at the same time, the costumes and everything are really detailed. And I think the challenge of this show is to not look like a tour of colonial Williamsburg, basically.
The handheld tour. I mean, I do like it when shows kind of like make it seem like they thought a little bit more about how they're shooting these things.
Yeah. I would also like to say that in our politically charged times, where we're talking so much about the Bill of Rights and how it affects us to this day, it's nice to see finally a show talk about the Third Amendment. The no quartering troops, because that's like a huge that's a huge part of this, and it's like people just like, why did we have that? When you're in school, and it's just like that. Why is that like 3? Why is that ahead of so many things? And it's just like because it was a big deal. It was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I mean, and what I'm excited about is we'll actually like let people know that the Revolutionary War. I think we all thought that literally like here we were on one side and the British were on another. No, we were living all amongst each other, and like there were people who probably like sided with the Patriots but wouldn't want to do anything about it. There were people who there were mercenaries, there were loyalists. I mean, it was just all complicated.
This isn't the first time, this isn't the last time, rather, that I'm going to cite 1776 as we do this, because it's one of my favorite musicals. But, not everybody was on the same page about the whole let's overthrow the king and, like, start our own country. So, 1776 and Schoolhouse Rock. I highly recommend both of these things to get caught up on what we're talking about here.
I was in a very different direction. I was thinking of Avatar: The Last Airbender, when all the cabbages got maggots, and I was like, my cabbages! 3 people on YouTube got that. That's fine.
You could explain that.
Okay.
All right. So the season's kicking off, and when Ben's back in town, he'll be joining us as well. So stay tuned.